There is a sea which day by day receives the rippling rills, and streams that spring from wells of God or fall from cedared hills. But what it thus receives, it gives with glad, unsparing hand. A stream more wide, with deeper tide, flows on to lower land. The Sea of Galilee, or Lake of Gennesaret, is a freshwater lake central in the life and ministry of Jesus. It is fed by streams that indeed flow from cedared hills. The famous cedars of Lebanon can be found just a few miles to the north. And the lake was a source of life and food and industry in the time of Peter, James, and John, and it still is today. And it is able to be a source of all those things because it has a major outlet, the Jordan River. And the Jordan carries that life-giving fresh water downstream to the benefit of those to the south. And while we might look at it and consider it nothing more than a large creek, the impact that it has on that region is immeasurable. It is the Jordan that made Canaan a land of milk and honey. What flows out of you? What is there that you surrender to the benefit of others? The unsparing generosity of Galilee is the very thing that gives Galilee life, with fresh water flowing in from many small streams and fresh water flowing out in one large stream. Because without an outlet to bless others, you can become like another sea. There is a sea which day by day receives a fuller tide, but all its stores it keeps, nor gives to shore nor sea beside. Its Jordan stream, now turned to brine, lies heavy as molten lead. Its dreadful name thus e'er proclaim, that sea is waste and dead. The Dead Sea takes in the fresh water of Galilee by way of the Jordan and keeps it all to itself. There is no outlet, only the natural process of evaporation, which takes the moisture but leaves the minerals, and the salt content grows and grows, and it is not life-giving. It destroys life. So no fish swim in its waters, no birds skim over its surface, no lush vegetation lines its shores. It is a dead place, and it's the lowest elevation on earth. What do you keep to yourself? What do you store up that might benefit others? The unsharing selfishness of the Dead Sea is the very thing that killed it and continues to kill it, with fresh water flowing in and nothing flowing out. I want to challenge you this morning to live your life as a life-giving sea that gives of itself to give life to others and to maintain life of its own. I want to challenge you to not be unsharing, but to be unsparing. It is no coincidence that Jesus kept his distance from the unsharing sea. There were no fishermen there to call. There were no boat rides, no morning campfires. It was not a place to hang out and have a picnic. And even today, it's only a curiosity, a tourist attraction. It's the region of Sodom and Gomorrah, seemingly cursed by God, a place practically absent of life. And it is the lowest of the low. And while in some ways we may be attracted to natural wonders like the Dead Sea or Death Valley or the great deserts, there are reasons that few people take up residence in those places. Just listen to the names. Death and desolation do not attract many people. And neither does an unsharing life. People in the world can see the difference in unsharing Christians and unsparing Christians. And they will see us as unsharing when we display attitudes of arrogance and exclusivity. It's very easy to walk around this world, to walk around this town with the attitude, we've got it good because we've got it right, and never, ever seek to share with anyone. And if we're not careful, we'll even do it with each other. Over the years as a minister, something I've heard all too often from people is, I just don't get anything out of it. Whether it's worship or a class or serving others. And I want to encourage you to never be like that. If you get to feeling that you're not getting anything out of what you're doing, consider the possibility that God is calling you to begin giving something back. You can give your time, you can give your knowledge, you can give your experience, you can give your example, you can give your leadership. Think in terms of what you can give and not what you can get. And it is also, I think, no coincidence that Jesus lived and ministered in the region of the unsparing sea. That's where he taught fishermen how to fish. That's where he sought both an audience and a place of refuge. He taught on its shores. He commanded its waves. He quieted its winds. He walked on its water. Jesus lived his life at the upper sea, the life-giving, life-maintaining northern sea, and he lived his life as the ultimate example of unsparing generosity. He gave everything. And so the question for us is this: what shall it be for you and me, who God's good gifts obtain? Shall we accept for self alone, or take to give again? For he who once was rich indeed laid all his glory down, that by his grace our ransomed race should share his wealth and crown. Jesus gave his life. Jesus shared his glory. What will you give? What will you share? We can't wait to see. God bless you.